Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden Plays video breakdown, I want to take a look at a defense out of the 3-4 over, and the name of the defense is called Sting Pinch. Now, of course, this is a man defense, so I want to go ahead and point that out to you. For the most part, a lot of the blitzes I've shown so far for this year for Madden 21 have featured a zone-type blitz. For this breakdown, I want to go ahead and get into a man defense. Matter of fact, probably over the next few breakdowns that I do, as far as on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to feature some of these man blitz schemes that can be run in the game. Just know if you run these, you always risk a chance of being beat deep. So just keep that in mind as we run this. So let's go ahead and actually get into the play call screen, take a look at the play itself here. And then from there, we'll go ahead and actually get on the field, and I'll walk you through some different scenarios with this particular defense and kind of just show you some things that are going to go on with it and some of the setups that I've seen over the years that work or kind of definitely, get some pressure on the quarterback. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. As you can see on your screen, we're going to run this from the Steelers playbook. The 3-4 over is the one that we're going to use out of the formation. Of course, the name of the play is called the Sting Pinch. On the offensive side of the ball, we're going to use the Browns playbook. We're going to use the I-Form Pro curls if you're following along. All right, so let's go ahead and get on the field here. And first thing we want to do is just kind of take a look at the coverages. As you can see on here, the first thing of note that you want to notice is that this particular defense is cover zero, meaning you have no deep help over the top. So if you call, for example, if you call press coverage, and your opponent knows some man beaters that just absolutely obliterate man coverage, especially on the deep routes, then you could be beat easily with this particular defense. So just keep that in mind. All right, as far as the coverage is concerned, what you're going to have is 5 defenders that are going to be playing man coverage. I'm going to go ahead and show you those 5 defenders. And there's your 5 defenders as you look at your screen. So you got those 5 defenders that are in man coverage, and then you also have 6 defenders that are going to be rushing the quarterback as you look at your screen here. So those are your 6 defenders that are going to be rushing the quarterback. Now, what I want to do here is I'm just going to show you the bare essence of this particular defense without doing anything at all. We're just going to go ahead and run it, not make any adjustments. And I just want to show you what the pressure generally will come from. Now, the design of the defense is, you just saw right there, the outside linebacker got it from the right side of the offensive line. But normally the pressure for this particular defense, at least if you don't make any adjustments, the way it's supposed to work is this linebacker right here is supposed to shoot through the A gap here, and then he's supposed to go ahead and get that pressure. So he's supposed to come through the A gap in between the, let's kind of clear that illustration there, but he's supposed to come through here and apply that pressure on the quarterback. So what you may end up seeing is something along this line. So he may come here into that area there, and then ultimately come through that A gap and apply the pressure on the quarterback. So that's generally how the defense would work. Now, as I said before, you saw that the outside linebacker got the pressure, but most of the time that's who it would come from. Now, one of the things, if you want to just do the bare minimum, don't want to make a whole lot of adjustments, the one thing that most guys will do is just to get the pressure on the quarterback is go ahead and press left to go ahead and bring up the defensive line adjustments. In this case, you'll want to go ahead and press up on the right stick. So as you're looking at your screen here, you're going to want to go ahead and press up, and you're just going to go up this direction. You're on your right stick. You're just going to go up. And what that's going to do is it's going to go ahead and slant the defensive line to the outside. And particularly this defender right here, as you're looking at it, this guy, he'll go this direction here. And then this guy here should go into somewhere into this area here. And what that's going to do, again, is going to allow this linebacker, the one that we're pointing out here, he'll get a better area where he can shoot through the A gap and apply the pressure on the quarterback. And that's what we're going to show you here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead and run it. And then you guys will see what I mean as far as, see how it gets a lot wider and you get the pressure on the quarterback. So that's something that you can do there. Now, let's go into this. I want to talk about this. I don't do a lot of subs and all that stuff, but I'm just going to go ahead and go into the Steelers. And if you're playing some other team that's got a fast linebacker, then one of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your fastest linebacker in at the right inside linebacker, which would be the number 2 on your depth chart there. In this case, if you look, the Steelers just happen to have a really, really fast guy right here, Bush. probably one of the things you might consider doing right off the bat, if you're using certain teams that you like, a team that you like, is to go ahead and use the auto reorder and see if that puts where you want. In this case, it still didn't bring Bush up. So what I would tell you guys to do is, if you're using the Steelers, move him into the right inside linebacker position, which is right there as you look at your screen. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and put him in there. So now Devin Bush will go ahead and be that linebacker. And the reason for that is that speed rating right there is a 90. So he's extremely fast. That's if you're going to run the blitz, what I'm showing right here. And you probably want to do that anyways, because the faster defenders you got out there, let's just go ahead and run this, and we'll switch it back over here in just a second here. Let's throw a quick passing play here. All right, so this is going to go ahead. Now Bush will actually come into the field here, and you'll see him at the right side, right inside linebacker. Go ahead and highlight him here so you guys can see him. So there he is right there. So right now, we now have our fastest linebacker, at least on the field for the Steelers, lined up right there. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. We're going to go ahead and slant to the outside. And again, watch the pressure that's going to come through that A gap with that linebacker. That means he's just going to get there faster. So if you want to go with that setup, that's something you can do. That's probably the bare bones of this defense. The quickest setup you can probably do to get pressure on the quarterback is going to allow you to get some A gap pressure. Now, keep in mind, if you've got somebody such as as Watt over here, I was going to say J.J. Watt, didn't mean to say that. But if you had, say you have his brother, which is lined up right here, you have T.J. Watt lined up right there at the left outside linebacker position, then he's got an X factor that's going to allow him to get pressure. Matter of fact, just look at the X factor that he has as you look at your screen. You can see that he has unstoppable force. He's an edge threat, which is right here as you look at your screen here. You can see he's an edge threat. So this is going to allow him to get some pressure on the quarterback pretty quick. And so you move him around in some different spots. For this setup I'm showing here, this very basic one, then what you want to do is you'll probably consider doing is going ahead and leave him right there. You can put him on either side if you want. I mean, if you wanted to, you can move him to the other side, to the right outside linebacker position. So that's the bare minimum as far as with this blitz. All right. The only other thing I could suggest to you, at least with this blitz, at least what I'm showing, at least initially, is if you wanted to, you could call press coverage. But as I've already pointed out earlier with this, if you do that and they've got some kind of man beater on the outside that they know that those guys can get off the line of scrimmage quickly, then you're probably not going to get the pressure that you want that fast. Because you got to get in there pretty quick. And that's really it on that. So you're just kind of really risking it if you go with that look. As it looks right now, this almost looks like a cover 2 type look. So your opponent doesn't know that you're in that type of coverage. Now, of course, you can audible into cover 2 man, and then you could call press coverage and make it look like there's the cover 2. And of course, you come back out here. But the problem with that is if you do this, let's go back into this. And there you go right there. You can kind of make it look like it's still cover 2, even though you're actually in the blitz. In the cover 2 man, you make it look like you're in the blitz. So anyway, that's it on that. That's what I wanted to go ahead and show you so far with this blitz. But I want to keep going on here because I want to walk you guys through some more things you can do with this setup. And I'm going to show you a simple one here. So the one thing I like to do with this is to go ahead and slant outside like I've been showing. So we're going to go ahead and slant to the outside with the defensive line. And then the next thing is I want to take control of this linebacker, the one I'm in control of right there. And then I'm going to bring him down into this area here. And then I'm going to go ahead and release him. Now, if you look, you'll notice that he lines up. Let's go ahead and look at this a little bit closer here. Zoom in a little bit here. You'll notice that he lines up a little bit closer than what he did initially. He's lined up here now about at the 3.5 yard marker versus about the 4.5 yard marker. So what that's going to do is it's going to greatly change the way this blitz works. Now what will end up happening is we'll end up getting pressure coming off the edge. In this case, we're going to get pressure from Watt, who's lined up again from the outside here. As you look at your screen, he's going to be the defender that's going to come off the edge, and he's going to get a free shot at the quarterback. So let's go ahead and run that and take a look at it and see what happens with it. So right there he comes in and gets pretty much a free release at the quarterback. So that's going to get you some pressure there with him getting a free release. Now, with that said, what I'm going to suggest to you is if you have an X factor who has an edge, who's an elite rusher who can get pressure off the edge, what I would suggest if you're going to run this particular defense is go back into your adjustments here. Not in your adjustments. Go into your Actually, you don't have to do this. You go right here. Don't go into your sub menu. You can if you want. The easier thing to do is just simply do this. Go ahead and, well, I was thinking this, but you can go ahead and do a sub here and then use your packages, or use your packages, which is down here on your screen as you look at it. You can go ahead and use that. And then what I would suggest you doing is going ahead and using the outside linebacker flick package for the 3-4 over. So what that's going to do is it's going to switch your two linebackers on the outside. It's going to put Watt now on the left, and I'll show you why I would do that. Matter of fact, let's go into not instant replay, but back into the depth chart here. And I want to explain this to you why I would suggest with this particular defense that you do this. Let's go back here one more time here. Sorry about that. And so we go down here to the linebackers. As I talked about, you've got Watt. As you look at it, you can see his speed rating here is a 83. Now, remember, he is an elite pass rusher as well. So if you go down here to your right outside linebacker for the Steelers, they've also got Dupree lined up over here. Now, his speed rating's an 87. He's pretty good himself. So what I would tell you to do is, if you're going to set up the way I just showed you where Watt gets that edge pressure without being blocked, then I would suggest, as I said before, use that outside linebacker swap. Let's go back into the actual screen here as far as the play art and getting back into the actual play. And what this is going to allow you to do, I think we got a lot of you guys already probably figure out what I'm about to show here, is what you're going to get now is you're going to get your elite pass rusher. Again, you're going to get Watt, who's lined up, as you look at your screen here, he's going to be lined up here. And then you're going to get Dupree, who's lined up over here. But what's nice about this setup is this guy, which is Watt, because he's an elite pass rusher, can get pressure on the quarterback. Even if he gets blocked by the left tackle, a lot of times he'll use his X factor star ratings and get past that left tackle. So you know he's probably going to get in there, maybe not every single time, but more often than not, the percentage of him getting in there is a lot higher than you would have had if you would have had Dupree over there on the left side as you're looking at your screen. By switching Dupree over to the right side as you look at your screen, then what this is going to do is it's going to give him a free release at the quarterback, so you know he's always going to get in. And then you've got Watt, for most of the part, is going to get in. So you're going to get two different defenders that are going to get pressure on the quarterback from the outside most of the time. Not every single time, but most of the time. So let's go ahead and run this again. Let's take a look at this. So the one thing you want to do, if you just go ahead and do the same setup I showed earlier, you go ahead and slant to the outside. You bring this guy up, not too far across the line of scrimmage, release him. And what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that he's close enough where the AI is going to look to block. The offensive line is going to look to block him first. So you're going to find one of these, as you look at your screen, you're going to find one of these guys here, rather it be the center here if you look at your screen there, or maybe possibly this right guard. But somebody's going to look to pick him up when he rushes. So when he rushes to the inside, he's going to get blocked, and that's what you want. You want him to get blocked into here. So that's the key right here. When he comes in there, he's going to get blocked. So that's what we're looking for. And what that happens is, and then as I mentioned earlier, you're going to get the edge pressure from Watt from the outside over there on the left side of the offensive line, and then you're going to get pressure from Dupree off the right side of the offensive line. You know darn well that Dupree is definitely going to get in. So let's go ahead and run it. See right there? And we get the pressure coming off the edge on both guys. We get the free release coming from Dupree, and then we get our X factor, Watt, who's got the X factor ratings, who's going to get that pressure on the quarterback. Let's go in instant replay and take a look at this a little bit more. And you guys can kind of see as I was drawing it up on the telestrator there. So as you watch, there's a perfect example of what's going on here. So as you look at it, you can see that the right guard is sliding in. He's looking to go ahead and block the right inside linebacker. And then as you look at your screen, you can see this guy, again, that's Dupree coming off the edge. He's got a free release. And then you also got Watt, who's going to be coming in here from the outside, applying that pressure on the quarterback after he gets past the left tackle. So that's nice. So that's what happens on that particular defense or setup, what I'm showing there. All right, finally, let's go into one last thing with this, with the setup here. I'll go ahead and show it to you because there's one other thing you can do. You can add one more element to this that's going to get you an extra defender who can drop into pass coverage, and that's what I want to show next. So let's go ahead and show that. So let's go ahead and do the setup here. The one thing you want to do is when you run this one, you want to take control of the nose tackle here, which is what I'm about to show. I'm going to take control of him. Go ahead and go ahead and slant to the outside with the defensive line. Don't forget to bring him up actually first, then slant to the outside, or however you want to do it. As long as he's got to come up to about 3 to 3.5 yards off the line of scrimmage. That right inside linebacker has to be moved up, released, so he drops back about 3.5 yards, because this is the way this is going to work. Now, at this point, what I would tell you would be to go ahead and, once the ball is, just go ahead and, if you want, go ahead and put this guy in a Bluff Blitz is what I'm going to do, at least initially. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in a Bluff Blitz. As you can see, again, that's the nose tackle that I've got in a Bluff Blitz. So right now he's in a Bluff Blitz. Now, one of the things I like to do is I like to go hold down on the stick. So right now what I'm doing is, you look at your screen here. I'm going to go ahead and just show this to you so you guys can see it. I'm basically pressing down on the left stick, and that's why you see him moving. And then once the ball snap, I just want him to come up. And then I just need him to drop back. A lot of times he'll end up dropping back. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to put him in a Bluff Blitz, you can also do that. So let's go ahead and start off with the defense here. Let's go ahead and bring this guy up. And then let's go ahead and slant to the outside with the defensive line. And then this time, let's go ahead and put him in a hook zone. So this time I've got him in a hook zone. And you can see right there, he's not in the Bluff Blitz, but he is in the hook zone. And do the same thing. Press down that left stick so it looks like he's just going up. And then you can just drop him back like there. And then you saw where he got the pressure on the quarterback. So that's the other option if you want. You don't have to put him in a Bluff Blitz. You can just put him in a hook zone or some other, whatever zone, whatever coverage you want to put him in. I just prefer the hook zone myself. And I'll show you one last thing I want to show while we're doing this. So right there, we got the edge pressure, the free release coming in. So we've got the free release over here on the right as you look at your screen. We're getting the edge pressure from our X factor, who's able to break the tackle. And then as you watch, this particular defender, one I'm in control of, is now dropping back into coverage. So now we got our extra defender. And when you're doing that with him, when you're dropping back, let's go ahead and do it one more time here. What I would suggest, let's go ahead and do this one last time. So let's go ahead and slant to the outside, bring this guy here. Put him in a vertical zone. And what I'm going to suggest to you is do this. And then just, you see I'm in control of him. Go ahead and hold down the strafe button, basically the strafe button or strafe button. And then what you want to do is, you're looking to take away the short middle of the field with him. That's the only thing you're really doing here. You just want to make sure you engage at least a little bit and then just drop him back. And you're going to get the pressure from the outside. And then what you're doing here, as while you're in control of this defender right here, all you're doing is looking to the right, to the left, right, whatever. You're just looking back and forth here, trying to take away any pass routes that might come over the short middle of the field here, and make sure your opponent doesn't have a quick pass where you can throw like a drag route or a slant or something. You're just sitting there just kind of waiting on that. But at any rate, that's it on the defense right there. So hopefully this will give you guys some ideas of how the 3-4 over sting pinch, what it can do for you as far as bringing some pressure on the quarterback, and give you some different ideas that allow you to get some pressure, and also do maybe some subs and stuff depending on what team you're running. With the Steelers, I kind of showed you what I would do with the Steelers. But if you got another team, and a lot of teams do have an elite edge rusher, especially at linebacker, if you got one of those, or at least a defensive end that's an elite rusher, then you're going to want to make sure you put him on the opposite side from where the free release blitzer is going to get the pressure on. That way you get double edge pressure off the edge and still can get some nice things going on. Because the only thing I did not show here is, if we go back in here, let's go back in here real quick here. I just thought about one last thing. I should have shown this, and I didn't show it to you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. One of the things you want to remember is, if your opponent was to leave a back into pass block, so say they leave their full back into pass block, and here they're in the I form, or say they're in a shotgun, you decide to run us whatnot, then what's going to happen is, obviously the back's going to look to block. Probably it's going to be the free blitzer who's getting pressure. So in this case, more than likely, what we're going to find is, as you look at it, what you're going to find is, with the fullback staying in the pass block, then he's going to go ahead and look to block here towards, let's go ahead and do this. We're not going to zoom in there, but let's go ahead and look at this. So here's the fullback. He's going to go ahead and block here, over here towards the right, because he's staying in the pass block. And more than likely, he's going to go ahead and block our free release defender, which in this case, Dupree. So he's going to get picked up. But once he's committed to blocking him, we still got that elite pass rusher over there on the left. And then it means Watt should still be able to get in on him on his own. Hopefully he'll get past the guy. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and take a look at the setup here. So we're showing the setup here. Let's go ahead and move him back one more time up there and then release him. And then you'll see right here. Now that time we didn't get the pressure that we're looking for from the outside, but you guys kind of get the idea of what we're trying to show with that. So that's the reason you want to have that elite pass rusher, just in case they leave that back in the pass block, which you see on your screen there. Then we would still have our, as far as maybe hopefully we can still get some pressure. That's the downside when you run these type of defenses. You're hoping that you can get some pressure from your elite pass rusher. And that's why it's important to have an elite pass rusher. Even with that fullback staying in the pass block, Watt was able to get past his man and still able to get some pressure on the quarterback. So hopefully that'll kind of give you guys an idea how to run this. And hopefully this is something you guys can use and take from what you guys want. Again, it's a man defense. I can't guarantee you're going to want to run this every single time, but if you mix it in with, say, the cover 2 man type defenses or cover 1, or just mix it in with some of the other defenses, then I think you can run this, but you cannot run it every single time. You got to mix it in every so often and just hope that you get that pressure. All it takes is that one time where you get that sack and say it's second and 8, and then you get the sack, and now you put your opponent in a 3rd and 14. Then you don't have to blitz on that next one. Maybe you can rely on just the 3-man, 4-man pass rush to get pressure on the quarterback. Or say it is 3rd and 10, and you go ahead and run this, and you don't want him to be able to throw a deep pass. Well, this will take that away because you're going to get some pressure pretty quick. So at any rate, hopefully this will give you guys something you guys can use. This is the 3-4 over sting pinch. It's a cover 0 defense that definitely is a high risk, high reward. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.